Hi, this is Phil from OneModel, and one of the questions we get asked a lot is how do we take data from different HR systems and blend them together so that you can get insights across everything that's going on with your employees? A great example of this is connecting recruiting data with downstream employee outcomes. So how can you use insights from your recruiting system to better understand the behavior of your employees and the success rate of them? It can be a tricky problem to connect those data sets, and I'm going to show you how OneModel makes that easy. So here we are in the Explore tool in OneModel. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a classic HR metric like turnover rate, and we're going to break this out now. And so here is termination rate, and we're going to look at it by year. And so right now, that's a very high-level insight. There's not as much that you can do with that until we start to break it out into more meaningful groups. So let's do a couple of things. First off, I'm going to just look at last year. So I click here, and now I can very conveniently and easily just look at turnover for, in this case, 2022. And I'm really only interested in a specific subset of my employees. I don't want to look at all the employees. I want to be able to narrow my analysis in to just a particular grouping. And again, this can be tricky to do if you're working in a spreadsheet or trying to juggle all the different lines of rows in the data. But here in OneModel, all I have to do is go down below my metrics. I have my dimensions. And let's look in this case at service tenure. So I'm going to break this out, select 0 to 1 years, and now what I'm going to see is just my turnover rate for employees who joined the company within the last year. And when they terminated, they had less than a year of employment. And so if you look at this from an HR perspective, this is already more interesting because you want to think about employees who joined the company and then almost immediately left. So there was sort of, some breakdown likely in the recruiting process that led to that. Now, the problem is if you have recruiting data over in another system, how do you connect the dots to now break that data out if a vice president or somebody asked you, well, is there a difference by recruiter? Is there something we could do to help improve this number, this early termination rate number? Now, fortunately in OneModel, all I need to do is I also have a recruiting breakout. And OneModel joins all my data together, so I don't have to think about all the connections and lookups that happen in the data right now. For me, I can just choose recruiter and break that data out. And now that turnover rate is broken out for all of my different recruiters. And again, I'm connecting multiple systems to do that and actually making several jumps in the data behind the scenes to make that happen. But for me, OneModel makes that easy. Now I see my analysis and I can see that certain recruiters have a much higher and certain have a much lower rate of initial turnover. Why this is important, again, is when these insights are spread across multiple systems, you may never find them because the effort to go and look them up or the potential for errors when you're making those connections in an ad hoc way can lead to simply not making the insight or getting it wrong. If you're finding yourself having difficulty connecting data from multiple systems, and it would likely be connecting data from recruiting and your core HR system, definitely check us out at OneModel. As the name suggests, we bring all your data and put it together into OneModel. Hey, is my watch been in the shots at all? Because I'm going to take it off because I knocked the table with it just now. All right. But I won't know my heart rate anymore.